Teens of Reddit, what's the worst thing your parents have found on your phone computer? When I was 11, I spent about 5 days in a mental institution about 15 months ago. I gave my mom the passcode to my phone or whatever reason to either Snapchat people or read me texts that I had received or something small. In and out like that. Like, she had to click on one thing, tell me what it said, respond, and close it. I was 16 BTW. Anyway, when I got home, she told me she found pictures of a negative pregnancy test on my phone from a month or so earlier, and she took me to doctor. Turned out, I had scar tissue in my uterus from 6-ish months earlier from a miscarriage. SCR that out. Before I had my own computer, I'd use my dad's desktop to browse the internet, listen to music, etc. I would message a friend of mine on Facebook quite a bit. We talk about a lot of stuff, but of course, mainly girls from school. Dad saw a few messages that were extremely explicit about a few girls from class. About wanting to be smothered by tits and PSSY and stuff. One of the most embarrassing moments of my life. Extremely passionate diary entries about Daniel Radcliffe from the Philosopher's Stone era. I was around 11. And the diary entries were in epistolary format. C. R. I. N. G. E. Back in 1999 or so, my mom was embarrassed that I had a song called Horny Horns on the computer when we had to get it fixed. I told her it barely had any lyrics and it wasn't naughty at all. But she was worried the computer guy would think it was. When we got the computer back, the guy said I had some interesting music on there, late 90s techno, and she said see. The only reason he listened to it is because it had horny in the name. Mum saw my history of sex scenes in TV shows and RP scenes, etc. I was in 4th grade. Was curious and absolutely mortified. Edit. Yeah. I found PRN when I was 9. Thought it was way too adult for me. So I searched PRN for kids. And kid PRN. My parents are probably still on some kind of list. Edit. Thanks for the gold. I'm glad we can all find camaraderie through cheese pizza. I accidentally sent my mom a fan fiction about SpongeBob getting gang up head. When I was younger, my mom found lesbian PRN on my comp. I blamed it on my grandma. That's like the worst choice to blame it on. You don't have a brother, friend, sister, dad, grandpa, dog. My mom found a Tumblr post from when I was 18 where I had said, wow, today I got 4 piercings and did an L for the first time, eventful. Like others have said, I browse a history. However, my mother printed them out. Like Excel format. 4 or 5 pages long, like some sort of really screwed up Walmart receipt. She then sat me down and read them out loud to me in front of my 2 brothers. I tried the Olay political fallback of deny when she dropped the bombshell. My email login was at the top and bottom of every list. I'm not a dad myself yet, and I seriously wonder why so many parents seemingly have zero empathy with their own children. Being tough with your child is one thing, but that's just bullying. This is really bad, but when I was 13 I was super afraid the zombie apocalypse was going to really happen. So I found and downloaded the Army's Improvised Weapons and Munitions Handbook. Yeah, imagine a 13-year-old boy with a file labeled explosives on his laptop. Man, I now understand why kids thought I was going to shoot up the school when I mentioned mixing 2 ingredients would make it go boom in chemistry. Plus I probably ended up on a list somewhere. Now that I am thinking about it, I might have a flash drive with the book somewhere in my room. Edit. Wetpsa games. Parents didn't find. I found on the family computer. My brother would stay up late and look up a bunch of PRN and he wouldn't clear the browser history. I, being a very nice brother, would clear it every morning. Eventually I got so sick of having to do that I changed the desktop wallpaper to say, please remember to clear your browser history. I'm female. I was around 12 years old when my dad found bondage searches on the computer. MySpace searches for big-breasted women as well. It was a very awkward talk. He taught me how to delete my browsing history. 2. At least you learned something during that. My mom randomly asked for my phone, so I was like, sure. She went through my phone and I had forgotten that I downloaded a video from Pornhub about a few days before. She found it and it was a woman riding a guy on the couch. I was in 7th grade. So about 7 years ago. Makes me cringe and laugh. I was looking up a way to get high from household items. Mom was not happy or proud. She called me about it when I was 30 minutes into a weekend-long road trip. What they have found. Hentai I saved years ago as a curious preteen. What they haven't found. About 40,000 words worth of smut that I've written. I was actually 20 when this happened, but still good story. Eating dinner at a restaurant with mum, aunt, uncle, grandmother, roommate, and a couple of family friends. I take out my phone to show my roommate, who sat beside me, a couple of funny selfies I took wearing his sunglasses. I'm swiping right to show him more photos. And then there's a dick pic. A big veiny red old dick pic. We both jump. Violently. In surprise. I make a sort of squealing sound and we both blush. My mum is sat opposite us. And gives me a funny look. She looks like she's about to ask. Then decides against it. We eat dinner. Lol gay. When I was like 16 or 17, my parents found a nude picture on my phone that I sent to my boyfriend at the time. They each separately came into my room to lecture me, cry about me being a heathen, and held up the picture of my bare ass the entire time. And then they came in together to pray over me because they thought Satan was trying to take over my body. Wow, it seems like the parents in this thread all think their kids are satanic or possessed. I made my stepdad a Tumblr as a joke when I was 16. I forgot about it and assumed he never used it. Only to get a text 2 years later when I posted some finally 18. Nude saying that I don't need to show the world my tits. Oops. Nudes of my then girlfriend. She thought I had them to blackmail her if I needed to and made a big story out of it. Including talking to her father. Edit. They found out through my browser history that I was an active participant of a pro-anorexia forum and they read all of my pathetic posts on there. I also had an accountability thread where I kept track of how much I starved myself, so they were really thrilled to find out about that. That wasn't a good time at all for me. Well, before smartphones, I had a collection of printed PRN photos. My parents were computer illiterate enough so I didn't have to clear my history. Forgot to pick one of the photos up one day after doing my thing. Got along talking to and grounded. When my mom found all my dark suicidal memes. Like this comment to instantly die. Obligatory, not me but my sister blah blah. Anyways. My sister is showing my grandparents something on her phone. She walks away for a moment to talk to me. Then goes to take her phone back. The first thing she notices is that the Google Assistant was scrolling through her gallery. And was showing off the personal pictures she sent to her boyfriend. She's hoping it didn't show. But my grandparents are looking at her very strangely. Thankfully, she had underwear on in the pictures and they didn't include her face. We were able to write it off as being from our weird cousin. But it was still too close for comfort. Google Assistant was barred from the gallery after that. Hentai. It's art. A man of culture. Nothing because I sneaky ath. My man. So this was funny. I must have been about 15 at the time. My half sister, 3 years younger, was caught by her dad looking up PRN. To be fair to her, my mom decided to search both hers and my search history. Oh no. JPEG. I played it cool while my mom scrolled through months of my search history. I sat in my room watching YouTube or browsing the internet every day. Lots of PRN. Worst thing she finds is a Shane Dawson video titled "She Licked My BALLZXD" or something like that. OMG, what is this? It's just a silly YouTube video. Click on it. It's okay, I swear. She gets bored after a few minutes. Continues scrolling for a few more months worth of search history. Okay son. Glad to know I can trust you. And gives me a hug. I beat off that night to some hardcore praying my thanks to the incognito gods. I regret nothing. One time back in day, my brother printed out a naked girl photo from our family computer and printer. It was not HD to say the least. He apparently hid it in the household computer desk. Mum confronts us a while later about a picture from a web address called Dumpster. We never got in trouble of any sort, but think she was more worried about viruses. Also, I'm pretty sure one time my mom went to use a printer and there was a backlog of orders yet to print. They were also PRN of some sort. Not a teen anymore. But when I was, the worst thing she found was nudies of her friend's daughter. Jokes on all you. Mine can't read English or know how to operate smartphones, computers. Edit. Jesus. I didn't realize I would get so many upvotes. That's just what they want you to think. Cringy memes. Hope your parents beat the out of you. When I was much younger, middle school, my mother happened to grab my phone to look for something. And just my damn luck, I had forgotten to close out of the hub. Especially unfortunate was the fact that this was when 18 and abused ads played as a banner. And my unsuspecting mother tapped that ad as that's what she thought I was watching. So now she thinks I'm into that very unpleasant side of PRN. And I had quite the talking to. Thank God she didn't scroll down and see what I was actually watching. Embarrassing to admit, but gay stepbrother fanfiction. Reverse. Guess they don't want to make the same mistake twice. Accidentally sent my dad a Cyanide and Happiness comic. If I have children, I hope they intentionally send me C&H comics. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Ha. Nice try, mom. A cover has been blown. Retreat. Knuckles Rule 34. Weird ass hentai that may be part of my username. I went through a period when I obsessively looked at PRN, about 12 yo. I actually wouldn't jerk off or anything. I just watched it cause the concept of SX was so new to me. The problem was, I would do it on my mom's computer. Because I didn't have my own. I would do it when she was out of the house walking our dog. But I never knew she was coming back until I heard the click of the front door lock opening. So I had about 4 seconds to close the browser and run to a different room and act like nothing was going on. Well, one day I was a few seconds too late. And my mom poked her head in the office just as I was closing the tab. She immediately checked the history and found everything. Her solution was to remove the door from the office room so I couldn't have privacy in there. When I was in 3rd grade, I looked up SX in Minecraft and my mom found it. Also recently she found PRN searches on my old iPhone 5C. Incognito. My conservative Catholic dad just took my 16-year-old brother's phone and found 2 videos of him in a gay strip club. And him taking shots from the bottle. This was roughly 5 years ago when the entire family shared a computer. A very tight one at that. Overheated in an hour of cancerous Facebook game playing and browser tabs froze constantly. One time I didn't get lucky enough for the tab to close in time for my dad to gain sight of the screen. The whole tab went blank as that's what it tended to do when it froze. Yet the title of the tab only read one word, which my father had to read knowing full well it was an intentional search. Ah yes. The obligatory O. You hear your parents clamping down the hall with absolute filth in the search bar? Let me just freeze for 30 seconds when you frantically press the close window button for ya. Cupcake. Close bracket. I've been there too. My dad saw my interest in computers at an early age, so he bought me one. There wasn't any real pop-up blocker standard back then, so I stumbled upon videos of girls mud wrestling somehow. One thing led to another and my dad ended up finding my search history. The next day my dad took away the computer and gave me the talk. Somehow I found this wonderful thing called Omegle. I told her to come and have a look, we could video chat with other people. Mum poked her head over the laptop screen just as Big Cock Wounder 49 jump up on video. Comments 5 years of SZOD questioning and belief I was gay. Mortified doesn't do justice for how I felt that day. I never opened Omegle again. Imagine your small frail librarian, my mother, sitting across from you reading out loud the names of those websites. www and com included. She just out her finger up every time I tries to talk. Fixes her glasses and continued. My dad once found an NSFW conversation I was having with a male interest at the time. He read the entire thing back to me aloud. Told me I could be found guilty of being in a court of law. And showed his friends the entire conversation including pictures because it was appalling and disgusting and he needed advice. I could be found guilty of being in a court of law. I'm sorry but this is hilarious. That. What the? Blood on the dance floor. I used to run multiple PRN accounts on Instagram and Reddit. I had 2 co-administrators and we would collate Rule 34 PRN from subreddits and PRN sites. This was in freshman and sophomore year of high school. I don't even remember how I got busted. But I had to black ops that. Forced one of my co-admins to take down the main account and then I quit everything involved and laid low. Basically, my parents found Undertale PRN on my phone. Not my proudest moment. Chat logs with a person that tried to abduct me. Oh yeah. I got my ass beat and told to stop talking to that person or else I'd get beat again. I guess this isn't bad but it did change my life. My sister went on a shared laptop and I had stupidly left open my internet browser which had pronorexia websites and blogs open still. I was 14 or 15. She told my mom, who thought it was a cry for attention. But it really wasn't. I was furious that they had found this. And was promptly sent into a network of doctors for my eating disorder, kinda pre-rehab, for those who aren't physically needing hospitalization, but mentally are messed up. It was a rough 4 years but who knows where I would be if I hadn't gotten the help I needed back then. I'm doing much better now, ED conquered. Nothing cause I'm the best at hiding stuffs. Hid my brother 7 years ago and no one has ever found him yet. Mom found out I was on Seeking Arrangement, the sugar baby website, at 17 and that I was stealing taking Xanax the same day, so it's almost impossible to read these. The cringe is too strong. Reading bestiality erotica. I cuddle the dog all the time. I sorta think my mom suspects something. So does half of Reddit now, haha. Poor. This one time I was going into TeamSpeak servers without community, infamous Whiner and the Bunch prank. This prank involved making a website on Wix that validated our status as a representative for those with small male parts. To further the hilarity, pictures of small and gross penises would be placed into our TeamSpeak profile avatars. We actually did convince people to sign up and had flipped the story to get mods and players banned from their communities. We were terrible. Anyway, I was in the midst of laughing my ass off with my pals and finding a small and disgusting penis to put as my picture. My dad walked in on me doing this. Immediate shame was felt on my part. Yes, I still pranked that night. There is a video on YouTube. Deep somewhere. A distant memory, but when I was about 5 years old, I used to look up SX games and do some very mischievous stuff on my mother's Apple desktop. This was discovered on the history by her and she sat me down and asked me why I had searched up Lady Gaga with no bra off. My excuse was, friend's name, told me if I looked it up I'd get free Robux on Roblox. So I used to be pretty active on this cringy story site called Wattpad. And they have stories of pretty much any genre on there. Naturally. Me being curious and all. Found a story about lemons with pregnant women. Lemons are erotic stories on Wattpad. I didn't really get turned on or anything. It was just pretty absurd lol. Well. Anyways, my mom confronts me out of the blue and says she knows about what's in my library. The library is where all the stories you read go on Wattpad. I was confused at first. But I realized like a day later and I was so embarrassed lol. Guess my mom thinks I'm into pregnant women now. Girlfriend's nudes. My browser history and bookmarks full of hentai. Comma bookmark. Comma hentai. Now that's badass. Shrek 5. World of Warcraft installed on my PC. At least they know you're not having sex. Probably get buried. But here we go. I was talking to my mom one day as we were headed home. I was about 17 at the time. Had recently just started dating my first girlfriend. And we had just started having sex. So naturally I had condoms coming out of the wazoo. So anyways. My mom randomly drops the line, you know your grandmother came over the other day and was doing laundry. My ears perked up as I'm not sure where this is going. She was shaking one of your pairs of pants out and a condom fell onto the floor. Instantly my brain started going into overload about how to react to that and rationalize it. And to this day I'm not sure what made me say it, but I replied with, at least you know I'm being safe. I wanted to die on the inside though. Nothing that bad. Just what he called neat women, which was really uncomfortable. Bobs and Vagina. A downloaded compilation of commercials Donald Trump was in. Please send me it. When I was 12. Very early days of the internet. I searched a lot of that, probably would have got my dad into trouble. I tried to look up nude photos of girls my age. Along with a host of other PRN sites. He sat me down the next morning and told me I've been searching for things I shouldn't have. Then proceeded to tell me he was going to show me the sites I visited. I was eyeing petrified. Because he didn't know what I was searching that prior night. It was super embarrassing. Thankfully I learned how to delete the browsing history the night before and there was nothing there. He was super confused. But it saved me a life of embarrassment. He would also confiscate any magazines I would get a hold of. Never knew why. I was unfamiliar with the term and had left the Google search up when I left the computer. My mom came to me very concerned and asked why I was reading about autoerotic asphyxiation. Hentai. My meme collection. And more hentai. Bitch, you thought I would let them get anywhere close to my phone computer. Last year. My daughter broke her phone and was using her little sister's tablet for FB Messenger. She left it logged in. And was sending some dude nudes. She was 17 at the time. Wife hit the roof and called her at work and chewed her out. Drama ensued. I just told her. I'm not providing bail if either of you get busted for child PRN. Be safe. Never again on your sister's tablet. When I was a teen, thing we getting bad between me and my stepmom. I made a list on my computer of things I would need to pack if I decided to take off. It was partly BC my memory was bad and partly just to vent. Anyway. They took my laptop and forced me to give them my password. She found the list and went crazy. Threw a suitcase at me and told me to get the out of her house. My dad told me I could leave and never come back or we could never speak of it again. Had nowhere to go so I stayed. If you don't mind me saying. That wasn't very nice of your dad.